Hello everyone, I hope you are. This is CoinsKid, just going to dive into Bitcoin. Big up the CoinsKid cruise. So yesterday, made a video on Bitcoin, and so far so good. You know, it's having that correction. I'm going to show you exactly where I think the time frame that particular correction could actually be over. I know a lot of people are looking at an ABC as well. I did post this on Twitter as a possibility, obviously, but right now we're looking at a CBBI. Now, we've been following this indicator for many years. This has been a fantastic indicator. When we come down here, you see this zone here. When it went dark green, like I said to you, I relayed this to you in the videos way back there in November. And I said, look, it's gone dark green. That's always been an opportunity just to jump into Bitcoin. And so far, so good. You know, this is one of the confluencing factors why I did think 2023 we would see an impulsive move into that. And that's exactly what's happened. So I think that we're going through a correction. And I think we've got an impulsive move that's leading into 2024 as well. Obviously, it could be completely wrong, obviously. But right now, we want to see the structure retained in this particular indicator as well, where we're coming up making these higher highs, higher lows. And right here, we're still doing that. You know, you've got the high, the high low, and right now if we start to come up and we take out this level here, then you continue in this uptrend structure within the CBBI as well. The minute we don't, the minute we come up, make a little high and we drop again, obviously this is coming down with the price as well, and we could be looking at a scenario like that where we ramped up off that bottom just there, we ramped all the way up into 2019, then we had that whopping macro correction, didn't we, into 2020, followed by that huge impulsive move into 2021. So it's absolutely possible, and I think the CBBI will be a looking glass to that, but at the moment I have to respect the data, and the data in the charts suggested that Bitcoin's ran up, it's came back down, it's retraced, it's still made a higher low effectively, you know, which is respecting the uptrend structure which Bitcoin is actually carving out from the bottom last year in November. So again, you know, pure data, not emotion. We'll rely on the data. If the data tells us otherwise, you know, Bitcoin is just looking to hold that low and go up. But obviously there's counts for bearishness and bullishness, they always exist. I did post these on Twitter yesterday. There was two alternatives, and I'll show you that today in the charts. But you know, so far so good, respecting the data. Bitcoin's looking okay. So let's dive into the charts right now and see what we can see. Looking at DXY at the moment, we've got this rising channel that we've been in since July. We're coming like this, boom. Okay, so one thing I do think, if we start to break down below this support, then my target will be where you're forming the channel. It's the same situation here. You know, got this rising wedge like that, and like I said to you, break down. There's your target. We came all the way down to it. Just there, we've got another rising channel. We broke down there. There's your target, and you can see we came all the way down to it. So you know, it's exactly the same. We've got this sort of rising channel at the minute like that. If we break down, it is a big if as well, because obviously this can break to the upside. But if we do start to break down here, then my target will be where you form that. Okay, equally here, if you take a look at the macro, this is something I was saying to you last year, we've got this whopping macro rising channel as well, the broadening ascending wedge. Okay, and once we broke down here, this level of resistance, I said to you, the technical target will be where you form the wedge. At that point, you know, this is going to come down, and you're going to see Bitcoin going the opposite direction. That's exactly what's happened. It was one of the confluencing factors towards the end of last year, and I said to you, I'm looking at a big breakdown in DXY, which is going to see a big move for Bitcoin, and exactly that's happened. Okay, so we're sort of at the same sort of scenario right now, where we've got this rising channel towards the end of this year. In theory, if this starts to break down, then this is your target, okay, for the remainder of the year leading into next year. Absolutely possible. So again, there's no guarantees, obviously, but if it does start to break down and loses its support, then that's my target. And you can clearly see, if we do start to come down to that target, you're potentially going to thrust through it. And what we've got here is a massive move to the downside, corrective move back up, and another move. Okay, and this is why I do think that it's confluence at this particular level that we could be looking at a major move for risk leading into 2024 and a potential blow off top. Okay, so you know, nothing I say is financial advice, but at the moment it's kind of ringing true. But obviously it'll be invalidated if a DXY starts to come up in this channel and starts to take it out and holds it as support and starts to go. But the confluence at the moment is the fact that the RSI is at peak level, where we do usually start to come in for some kind of correction for the DXY, and we've not had any kind of correction so far, have we? We're sort of coming up, and the RSI is beginning to print multiple bearish divergences on multiple time frames for the DXY. Okay, so again, I'll keep you updated as best I can, but I do think, you know, one of the really key things here in this particular chart would give the game away is if it does start to break down. If it does start to break down, then for me, I think you've got an opportunity in Bitcoin. So anyway, aside from that, there's no guarantees. It's technical analysis, and this is all I do. I relay the technical analysis to you every day. So let's dive into the Bitcoin chart right now and see what we can see. Look at Bitcoin on the hourly time frame at the moment. We've come up. Look at off this low. Okay, so we've got this low to this previous pivot high, which is just there. There's your pivot high. You've got the thrust to the downside, and like I said to you, you've got the 5-wave counter. This is why at this point here, this was a fantastic opportunity. Spot bid, long bid, whatever. You know, we've got 5 waves down. Always counter the 5 waves, and right now we're coming up. So we've made a lot of money in this retracement. It's coming back up. Okay. Now the key thing is it a retracement? Is it retracement to the high before another thrust to the downside, or is the correction over? And right now you're coming back up the stairs. So time will tell. But obviously what we want to do is continue to do what we're doing here, carve out uptrend structure from this low, and so far we are. So we've got to respect that at the moment. So what we've got as well, we ran into the 1618 just there, and then we retraced all the way back down to that low, and then from that low there we come up and broke out the local high again and tapped the 1618 again. So there is a possibility that this is simply an ABC correction like this. This is why I said to you yesterday, what we're looking for is to move the stops up from this low onto this low. Okay, so obviously if it starts to come down and loses its low, this is going to start to look more like an ABC with another move to the downside. Okay, and at that point I would imagine the DXY is breaking out. But there is a case right now that this is actually impulsive and corrective. Okay, so we've got sort of micro impulsive and corrective waves in there, and this still might be the third wave that we're actually in right now, and Bitcoin is looking to take out that high relatively soon. Okay, so if it does start to come up and it takes out this local high that's put in just there, it will begin to print 5 waves, won't it, off this bottom, in the sense that what you've got as a possible scenario is a 1, a 2, you know, a 3, a 4 and a 5, something like that as an absolute possibility, or the fact that you're still in the third wave here. So there's a 1, there's a 2, and you're still in the third wave that comes up, does something like that, and then you know, you've got something like that, you've got your 5 waves, and this is still part of the third wave that Bitcoin's actually in right here. This is absolutely possible, and this will be confirmed obviously if we start to come up and take out this high. So again, Elliott wave is so subjective, but what I'm looking at right now to confirm the uptrend structure is simply retaining that low. So your stops move up, your lows move up to retain the market structure. Do you understand? So right now this is your market structure, 25999. So you start to lose that, increase the probability of the fact that you're going to start to retrace to this low with the potential to lose it, and this has simply been an ABC correction before another thrust to the downside. So if we do start to come up here, make a lower high, and we start to drop and we lose that, then I will actually jump into a short at that point. Okay, but until then I think we've got to respect the trend. We've potentially put in 5 waves to the downside. We've got the 5 wave counter, we've come up in a 1, potential 2, and right now we're in a third wave. Whether or not it's cooked at this resistance or we're still in this, because look, we're inside of this wave here. Okay, so you know, in my opinion that's a wave 1. We've hit the 1618, we've come back in ABC. Okay, job done. We took out this high, so this is beginning to look impulsive, but what we need to see is a continuation here of breaking resistance and falling back to high level support. Okay, so what we've got here, and I did say this to you last week, we've got a potential 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a leading diagonal, so that's a potential wave 1 with inside the wave 3. Do you understand? And then what we did here is I put simple ABC, A, B, C. So right now you could still be in the third wave, which is the third wave within the third wave. It's quite complicated, I know, but what we could be looking at right now for Bitcoin is the fact that that's been some kind of 1, it's a 2, it's a 3, right now it's some kind of 4, and then you've got a big thrust to the upside, which is a 5, you know, and that's your third wave cooked in the ABC, and then you've got your final 5th wave. It's quite complicated, I know, but what we're looking at respectfully is just taking out that high to increase the probabilities that we are impulsive. So this is why I said to you at the minute, you know, just like down here when everyone's really fearful, the opportunity is to build positions with you stop down here. So right now, you know, the position and the opportunity is here to build your positions with your stops down here. It really is that simple. Okay, because if this is indeed impulsive, then in theory we should be holding structure of an uptrend and then breaking these levels of resistance, okay, and continually coming up the stairs where we eventually attack all these orange lines that I've got marked in the charts and eventually get to the target, which is 47k for Bitcoin. So again, I can't be too bearish just yet, but this is your market structure and support at the moment. It's moved up 25999. So again, you could just be building positions on Bybit or BitGet. It's entirely up to you with your stop loss on that swing low to minimize your risk. Okay, but right now we could still be in the wave 3 here that takes that resistance out. Take that resistance out, it's going to start to print 5 waves, isn't it? Take care everyone, back to a new update on Bitcoin. Stay healthy, stay strong, stay tuned. Bye bye.